Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Trust in sound. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie QUIZZZZZZ. And who, sir, are you?
I'm known around these parts as the producer. My name is Matt Duncan, and Fred, how you doing there?
Doing good, enjoying the new voice. I'm not sure if that's because of the lockdown and you've officially lost it, but I am into it. Folks, pals, I've lost it as well. If you're tuning into this pod for the first time, we are a Raptors podcast. We also talk NBA. We're comedians, commercial actors, hardcore fans. We have some analysts on, and we are pretty hardcore, so we do know some stuff. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you want to support us more, or just to help struggling podcasters in general, how might they do that for us, Maddie?
Well, you want to go to dunkspodcast.com because that is our website and we have all our stuff there. Of course, if you're listening to us already on a podcatcher, that is great. If you aren't, if you're still browsing, try and get on one of those podcatchers because it really helps us out. And I will say that Spotify, we are on Spotify. A lot of you do listen to it on there. They do have a rating system now on Spotify. I don't think you can leave reviews, but you can give us 5 stars. So if you are listening to us on Spotify or you have a Spotify account, please give us a little rating there because I do think that Spotify is the platform that is going to be kind of leading the way in the next decade or so. I think Apple Podcasts is really going to start to get lower and lower on the poll. Whew. So yeah, I said it here first, folks. So if you could give us, try to pump up those Spotify ratings, that would be great. Move us up the sports charts. And as well, we've got our Patreon, and we've been working on some Patreon content. Right now, we're releasing on the podcatchers way later, but we've got a new one coming up soon. Excited to do that. And then we've got our toques, and we're into the, it's -13 one day. It's +6 the next. It's crazy, but you need a toque that isn't too hot, isn't too cold. This toque is promoted and revered by Goldilockses of all kinds. So we've got the Confederacy Dunks Goldilocks toque. Doesn't sweat, doesn't itch. It's just right. Sorry, bears. She's taking them all. Get them while they last.
That's a straightforward toque description if I've ever heard one. Folks, grab your toque. Help support this pod. We really, really do appreciate it. Maddie's is a goddamn pro. Yeah, we're going to bring it more this year, 2022, with the Patreon content. And thank you for everyone who supported our podcast the entire way. And, for the new people as well. This is a fun episode. We got Alexey Ots, Andre Pape. Alexey is a man about YouTube. Always fun. Always has a fun background going on. So make sure you do check out the pod on YouTube. And for those checking on YouTube, I just flipped my hair the wrong way. You know what I mean? Cheers. Andre Pape's on. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times. Really good guy and big fan of the Raptors. Marketing wizard, let me say.
Yeah.
But we talk Freddie All-Star. We talk what to do with this empty Scotiabank Arena. We talk top 5 rookies, and we talk best kind of like revenge storylines going on. It's a great pod. It's really fun. And I think with that said, I will say what I usually say, which is Black Lives Matter, defund the police, stop Asian hate, and email your city councilors. We have a huge provincial election coming up June 2nd. So make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you know you're riding. And email your city councilors, email your provincial MPs. Let people know what you care about, your constituent, and they got to listen to you.
Mhm.
So with that said, Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, we're good to get this pod revved up, please just give me those sweet, delicious words I love so much. Okay. Okay, let's get going here on podcast 228 of Confederacy of Dunks. It's going to be a good one. The Raptors are, I don't want to say on a roll, but congealing in the right way right now. When you're listening to this, the Spurs Raptors game will have already happened. So hopefully that's another W, 3 in a row, I think. But let's get going on guest number 1 here. He's done the podcast a bunch of times. Last time he was at a cottage getaway. I don't think he's there anymore, but he might be. I'm not sure. He's incredible. He used to live in LA, he lives in Toronto now. Forget the company he works with, but he's a hype man. He's a promo man. He's an everything man. He's a Raptors fan. Give it up as loud as you can for Andre DePape.
Hi.
Hello.
Wish I was at the cottage.
I wish you were at the cottage too, but then that's like, this sounds weird coming from me.
I did move apartments though, so pretty
sweet. Again? Because I know you did move once during the pandemic.
Yeah, again. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I hope for good reasons.
Yeah, bigger, nicer apartment. So
amazing. Okay, Andre, moving on up. I believe you have looks like a DeRozan jersey on. I'm not sure.
That's right.
We're all repping so hard. All of the DeRozan lovers are having a good time right now, but I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit in the podcast. Sorry.
Oh no, I was saying it's the best part of this era of being a Raptors fan is that we can cheer on former Raptors.
Yes.
Like, underrated feature of being a modern day Raptor fan.
100%, because we're winners, so it's not like we're like longing for everyone anymore. It's like, oh man, we want you to win too. It's a nice vibe. But let's bring on. I want to say Kensington's finest. I'm not sure if
the mayor of Kensington.
Mayor of Kensington. I'm not sure if that's what he goes by exactly. He's got a sweet YouTube channel that we'll promo later for sure. Last time he was on the pod, it was an absolute blast. He was promoting potentially making wasps and bees fight in his backyard. Wasps, I think. Like, he wasn't messing around with any endangered bees. So don't jump on him. Don't cancel him. But anyhow, this is a sloppy intro. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're home alone, for Alexey Ots.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Got my DeMar DeRozan Funko, y'all. This is the only Funko they ever made of a Raptor, y'all. So we gotta love DeMar still. Oh, my Funko, I love him.
Wow. This is Alexey. That was, I think, as weird of a beginning as I could have hoped for. Thank you. What's a Funko?
A Funko is a really bad toy that wastes a lot of plastic that a lot of people hate, but I love them. I collect all these old nostalgic ones. I got like Boba Fett and like Superman and B.A. Baracus. I like the old ones, but this is actually the only Raptor one they've ever made, and it is DeMar, and it came out a couple of years ago.
So, wow. Matt Henry, if you're listening, check out that DeMar Funko.
And my little brother Thomas is a hardcore Raptor collector. So, wow, that seems like a prized item. Alexey, what's up? Happy you're back. Thanks for what are those toys called again? Like, how do you spell it?
Funko. They're the Funkos. A lot of people hate them. Like, real toy collectors hate them. They think they're the worst thing in the world. But, you go to EB Games or something like that, you'll see them all over the place. But I can't say I'm the Kensington guy anymore, guys. I moved also. Andre's moved a couple times. I had to move also. Kensington was just too crazy during the pandemic. I'm not going to lie.
Fair enough. Hey, you make sure you're safe. let's talk some Raptors ball. Thanks for educating me about the Funko or Funkle. I'm gonna Google it, but Maddie, good sir, why don't you give me your loudest, most delicious, free of Aaron Baines Raptors sting? Okie doke. Andre, let's start with you. I'm just going to put it out there plainly. Is Fred VanVleet an all-star? And, in general, it doesn't have to be an exact numbered ranking, but where do you have him among Eastern Conference guards?
So Alexey knows all this because he's the number one fan. But career high field goal percentage, career high in minutes played, 40% from three, career high effective field goal percentage, highest rebounds at 5. He's short and he has 5 rebounds. Highest career assists, 6.7. Highest career points, 21. He's performing better than the best Mike Conley season.
Wow.
He's an all-star. He's an all-star. And I do have him ranked on for East. If I'm voting in East, I put 3 guards ahead of him. Trae Young, Harden, and Zach LaVine. And then Fred VanVleet, number 4 guard in the East.
Trae Young, Harden, Zach LaVine. And we don't have to. It's always the thing on the low post. Zach Lowe, for those who don't know, you should. He's a man, but he is always going over what positions are factored in. So this is why I'm glad you kind of presented it like that, because I almost entirely agree with you. I think there's some counterpoints which maybe Alexey will get to, and if not, I'll get to. But DeMar would be someone I would also put ahead of Fred, potentially, but also maybe not. But the point I'm trying to bring up is that he could be a guard or a forward, and I think that might be true of LaVine. But anyhow, I what I'm trying to say is, I think you illustrated the point that he's that good and he's in that conversation. Alexey, let me just go to you. Do you fully agree with Andre? Are you, is Fred even higher for you? Is he a bit lower?
I love the stats quotes, Andre. Oh, wow, good stuff. Yes, of course, Fred VanVleet's an all-star. He was an all-star last year, that 54-point game. Listen, I've been reviewing the career leaders in a lot of the Raptors categories, and there's 2 current Raptors that show up on the list all over the place, and that's Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet is currently 3rd in all-time three-pointers made for the Raptors right now. So there's a lot of different things we got to factor in. Plus, Jack and Matt keep quoting this thing where he's in this group of guys with certain stats that is all elite. It's like Jokic and LeBron and something like that. That kind of stuff alone right there with the stats, the increases in all the categories and stuff like that is going to get him there. But this is the thing. The fans are going to have to do it. It's going to have to be this hashtag fan vote thing over and over again to get him into the starting lineup. Because honestly, the guys that Andre is listing there, they're really good. And that's who the NBA is going to probably want to push to get there. So Raptors fans got to rise up and get him in there themselves. That's how only way I see it happening, unless, the coaches could be real nice to us this year and give us 2 guys on the bench, Pascal and Fred, because they both deserve it. They really do.
Well, I hope we can have the Pascal conversation, as well down the line in this pod, because what's interesting about him is, obviously he was injured for a bunch of games, and then he's clearly working his way into the swing of things. So, I mean, I'm going to kick this down the can a little bit, but I sort of like the Pascal gunning for an all NBA spot again narrative more than the All-Star, just because I feel like, I mean, I haven't really went through the forwards, but but our record definitely has to improve, I think, for two guys. And right now, I would say it's pretty, without a doubt, Fred's team. He's the one who showed up. But before I get to DeRozan, because Andre made a bit of a face, so I kind of want your take there. But before I go back to you, what about guys like Beal and what's his name? LaMelo Ball. And there's someone I'm missing as well who is having a pretty strong year. Garland of Cleveland.
And also Drew Holiday's another one.
Drew Holiday's another one.
Put in that mix, yeah.
For sure. And I'm just throwing that out there because when I first wrote this question to you guys, it was sort of like, let's talk about Fred being an all-star. And the more I did my own digging, I was kind of like, I think he's an all-star because he has all this insane defensive skill and just a ton of intangibles. So it's easy for me to, see him, coming in higher than a guy like LaMelo, who has pretty incredible counting stats and is pretty flashy and, a sexy name and might get voted in or whatever. I think Fred's better than LaMelo. Like, I'm pretty comfortable saying that. I also feel like the Bulls are interesting because they're in first place. So they kind of need two guys. So that's where the DeRozan thing comes in. Like, I kind of just hope they both make it, and I feel like they will. But yeah, Andre, let me go to you. You brought up Drew, but where are you at on the DeRozan Fred? It's like Fred way better.
No. I mean, with DeRozan, he's just like it's been a big 18 months for inflation. So, twos are threes now, threes are fours now, fours are fives now.
Yep.
And DeRozan's been playing power forward most of the season. So it's not even a consideration like, is he a shooting guard or small forward? Now is he small forward or power forward? He's
okay.
I think he's just a forward now. And yeah, I would say Levine is maybe the one that's a bit more like, is he a shooting guard, small forward? But
right.
I would say Levine probably a guard, and DeRozan I'm pretty certain would be a forward. I think DeRozan's having an insanely good season, better than a lot of the guys I named, including Fred.
Yes, I agree.
He is actually listed as a guard in the voting. I've went and looked, and they actually do have him under guard.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
Controversy.
Yeah.
And then the
Levine's there too, but Goran's there too, guys. So come on.
The other guy, I think, should be there, but I guess maybe just isn't because of their record and it hasn't been as explosive. I'm a big fan of Jaylen Brown. I think he is, trust me, anyone that listens to this podcast knows that I hate the Celtics. So it's difficult for me to throw any bones the Celtics way, but I really do think Jaylen Brown's a special player and similar to Fred, like intangible guy, like incredible, can guard the best player, can also just go off. But, I do think Fred manages more of the load and kind of has better counting stats this year. But yeah, I think that's kind of settled. Raptors pod. We all think Fred should be in the All-Star game. Checks out.
It's really going to depend on how well we do. Like if we kick a lot of butt in the next month or so, and we are like winning like 10 games in a row all of a sudden, then these guys are going to get pushed real hard to be all-stars for sure. But if we don't do that, then I don't see it happening in some ways. So
yeah, like I
totally
see,
right.
I see Ball maybe getting in on fan vote just because he's especially
exciting.
With the kids and stuff. He's super exciting. I think it's probably going to come down to Fred or Drew, and I think it's probably going to come down to a coach's selection. But to Alexey's point, like if the fans get up and get voting, it's certainly a possibility to have him in there.
Yep. Okay, Maddie, why don't you come in here? We're gonna do our silly question, our standard silly question. The silliest thing is to have something standard and all the time. But just kidding, just making fun of my own format. So yeah, with the Raps doing what they're doing now, there's sort of this, I guess, in between of what it felt like in Tampa without fans in the stands, and sort of what it felt like in the bubble, but not really, because that was its own unique thing. This is actually making me think, when this all started, the Warriors were entertaining the idea of playing with no fans, and then I remember LeBron kind of spoke out against it, but things evolved so fast, and within days the league was shutting down, so it was kind of a moot point. But a lot of Raptors fans are watching Scotiabank empty, and whatever, Hornets versus the Grizzlies packed all over the league. So I think personally I'm feeling that disparity more than I ever have, and I feel like they're doing what they need to do, MLSE, but also, given that we've made this decision, it's nice to beat up on the lowly Knicks, but I do think we need to force some kind of advantage if we're not going to have fans. So that brings me to, you got Masai in the stands. That's kind of cool. Like, that's intimidating in and of itself. You got the Raptor walking around by entertaining no one. I'm not sure that's working. I love the Raptor, but yeah. So I wanted to field your ideas. How can we, liven up Scotiabank and maybe put, kind of emphasize our home court without fans? Let me go to you first, Alexey.
I have a couple ideas, because I always know on these questions, great minds think alike, and somebody steals my great idea. So my idea for this is basically like playing off the Masai thing, the image of him being in the one guy in the whole section. I want to create something called the Masai Ujiri Ultimate Fan Experience, except you have to be a super VIP to sit in that spot. Like, sure, we'll put Nat Badia there for one game and just let him sit there and do his thing, throw his towel from far, stuff like that. But let Drake sit there. And the one rule about this is you can't have anyone sit with you. You have to sit absolutely solitary by yourself and deal with watching the game and just kind of imposing in the back as one guy in the crowd behind and the camera angles and stuff. Like, just imagine if that's Drake sitting there and he's the only one they can hear. Like, he's talking to them on the court from afar. Or Samuel L. Jackson, super fan of the Raptors, comes back and he cusses them out a little bit in one of his characters from a movie or something like that. I really want something like this to happen, where we, like you said, one imposing figure just looming in the back, and the fans can see him at home, and the teams, they know he's there. It's like Jack Nicholson's Showtime 80s, baby. New, redone. Yeah, that's what I want to see, man. Yeah.
Let me just chime in. I don't know if you have other ideas, but let me just comment on this idea quickly. My mind immediately goes to any of Samuel Jackson's characters. I want to see him yelling, "There's snakes on this motherfucking plane," when someone's at the free throw line. But yeah, Alexey, that's good stuff. I mean, I feel like they'd have to be specific. Like, we'd have to use the celebrity correctly, only because, for instance, if it was Drake, I think Toronto would be a little bit divided. Some people would be like, "Oh, that's amazing," and other people would be like, "Oh my God, of course, Drake is the person who gets to go." So, there might be some angles there, some pushback. But before I move on, do you have any other ideas?
But Drake, see, listen, he's one of our best smack talkers. He really has been for years. So he would be active. He would be active, and he wouldn't have nobody to talk to. So he would have to talk to them during the game. And I just want to hear him talk stuff. And those rookies and young players on the other team, they get scared when Drake's there sitting and watching. They're like, "Oh man, Drake's there." They get starstruck. Trust me, they really do. He's a good little, like, elephant in the room kind of guy to have if there's nobody there and it's just Drake sitting there, something like that. Or what if it was Barack Obama? Obama's just sitting there watching the game, just him there. It'd be so weird, man.
Yeah, I mean, throw in some weirdness. Why not? Like, always got to shout out Russell Oliver of Oliver Jewelry. Throw him in the Sprite zone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay. Andre, so we have isolate. So idea one, isolated celebrities at different spots. This is pretty good. I think it would freak people out. Like it's already weird, right?
Yeah. And as Alexey said, great minds, but not Alexey's idea, but Freddie's idea of Russell Oliver. And I was thinking of iconic Toronto people and things surrounding it. So Russell Oliver is a fantastic idea. I'm mad I didn't think of that. But maybe it's a tribute to the recently departed Mel Lastman, and we have a bad boy in full prison pinstripes running around, maybe stealing things. Do we, dive into some retro Ontario? Is Pokeroo at the game? Where's Pokeroo? He's sitting courtside. That's where Pokeroo is.
Yeah, maybe get some body break going.
Get body break going. Yes, absolutely. Joanne McLeod and Hal Johnson courtside with like Raptors, like windbreakers get them to do the intermission entertainment to nobody, but they're like working out. And then, Mr. Dress Up's tickle trunk could be, sitting there. Matt Devlin dives into it to grab some costumes and puppets to play with.
Shout out Mr. Dress Up.
Humpty and Dumpty.
Yeah. So that was my one idea, was just make it all retro Ontario everywhere. And then the actual idea that I think is actually good, and they should do it, is put all of one team's player numbers on one side and then all the other team's player numbers on the other side. And then you activate their numbers like you would in NBA Jam. So when they hit 3 shots in a row, their number lights up, it goes on fire, and you can kind of in real time see who's killing it and who sucks.
I love that. I love the like the pinball element of that, And your idea, just think about iconic things. It's like I feel like maybe this is just because it recently happened, but let's get Keanu out there just naming random things from Toronto and Ontario. Let's like whatever Keanu can think of, bring it into Scotiabank. Max Milk, whatever.
Fiesta Farms.
Fiesta Farms, get it in there,
The Bathurst Patty Shop.
That's right. The Tiger at Christie Pitts. Bring it in,
The White Squirrel of Trinity Bellwoods.
Yes. All the memorabilia. All the
Dufferin bus.
Yeah, a Dufferin. Just bring in a Dufferin bus. Yeah, people want that for sure. Maddie, what's up? We've gone down nostalgia lane.
Right.
Also, I think Alexey had a bit of a Sleep No More, or not Sleep No More. Eyes Wide Shut vibe, where are you coming from here? Like, do you want to freak people out? Do you want them to make them feel warm? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's like, absolutely no one will feel well with my idea.
No, there'll definitely be some nausea with my idea. But what I want to do, we got all the seats empty, and this is the time where we've got Fabricland. That's a great supplier of fabric material in Ontario and in Canada. What I want to do is stretch green screen over the entire state, the entire arena in there, over all the seats, so that there's going to be a couple of things. There's going to be an experience for the players, and there's going to be an experience for the people at home. For at home, it's going to be like we could go nuts if everything but the court is green screened. Like we could have it looking like that field in Jurassic Park where there's like brontosauruses and they're just like playing basketball in the middle of all the dinosaur herd or something, but give it this jungle feel. We could, Andre, I don't know if you're still there. If you've got connections at the rec room, maybe we could borrow some of the VR stuff. I would like the players.
Just bring it over, wheel it over.
Yeah. I mean, it's close enough. It's down the street. I'd like the players to be wearing VR helmets too, so that they have an experience. So yes, all the players are going to be wearing VR helmets, but these are professional basketball players. They could play with their eyes closed if they want to. So the thing that would be really fun for me, and if I had a job, I'll do it for like $42,500 a year, Bobby, if you're listening, but I will create the green screen behind the net to psych out the other team when they're taking free throws. So, like I'll put like one of those optical illusions that looks like the picture's moving, but it's not. Someone's gonna get in their head, or play a clip from like Willy Wonka when he's like doing that scene in the tunnel and he's going crazy or something. Like it'd be hard to shoot on that. Really fun. I think it'd be a lot better than those clapper things. But I mean, I could work with the green screen of that too. Maybe. green screen and people clap.
I love how you started to criticize clappers and you just had to stop. You had to stop mid-thought and be like, honestly, let me walk that back. I love clappers.
I would love to see another dimension where every game happens the exact same way, but nobody does that clapper, just to see, how many shots are made or missed, or what's the difference in the shooting ratio. So anyways, looking to green screen the entire Scotiabank Fabricland. Get to me. Let's get this done. I've got thread. I've got a Shaq printer. Let's do it.
Matt, you showed up and you absolutely killed this one. Lots of good ideas packed into, a messy rollout, I will say. But no, the thing I want to jump on first is that the idea that Fabricland could supply green screen material. That's just a golden nugget you got to accept with this idea, and I do. And the other thing is, I love how you went to Jurassic Park, and you just skipped Raptors playing basketball and went straight to Brontosauruses. That's a good one to me. Are the Raptors playing ball? Absolutely not. Those things with very long necks. You bet. Also, great minds do think alike. This is pretty close to my idea. Like you actually articulated it better. Green screen blanketed everywhere. Makes sense. We already have the Jumbotron and people are used to seeing images. Mine is, kind of using that. And I feel like I haven't seen that much of it since, but that hologram technology that, Snoop busted out for Tupac. At a Coachella, I think it was 15 years ago, but I'm assuming that's pretty good now, and they can do a lot of that stuff. So opposing team comes, and whether they're at the free throw line or just pick different strategic moments, show them a very detailed hologram moment of their life that was bad. So and I don't want to get too dark here. You could do let's say somebody getting crowned or something like that. You keep it in the basketball world, or an embarrassing moment, something like that. So sort of hologram distraction. But anyways, my idea. But obviously I've thrown some flubber.
If we're playing Tristan Thompson, is it just a hologram of the Kardashians with their arms crossed, looking at him in silence?
Yes, it's he's done so many. I feel like did he do something recently?
Yeah. He fathered a child with Chloe's best friend or something like that.
Tristan
Thompson, just oh shit, it is my kid. Sorry. Yeah, Tristan
Thompson endlessly just being he's the king of the you read the headlines and you're like, what? Oh, gross. And then you're like, oh, where is he? Is he still playing basketball? And he is. I think after Cleveland, I feel like he's played for 15 teams.
I would give $5 if somebody could tell me what team he's on.
I know it's
Sacramento.
It's Sacramento. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it? I was gonna say Boston.
Yeah, he's on Kings.
Alexey gets $5.
Alexey, you got a hot five coming your way. Okay, let's take a little break here and jump to some NBA stuff. Maddie, if you don't mind, could you give me your most delicious Adam Silver foghorn sounding NBA sting?
This is Adam Silver.
Wow, that was full. Beow. There's no beow in the second one. I think I basically know that now, but I still instinctually do it. Let's go to you first, Alexey. We were talking about it a little bit during Andre's intro. Obviously, there's a lot of where's my finger? I'm trying to point to my DeRozan so bad with camera. Okay, you know what? I'll figure it out later. Listen, I can't. If you know what, watch YouTube for that moment alone, and just to see how uncoordinated I really am. But there's a DeRozan signed T-shirt behind me. Maddie's laughing at this sloppy question. There's a Andre jersey also in the StreamYard. There are a lot of DeRozan fans here. Alexey, you have the doll. I already forgot the weird name. Of it. Funko. Okay, cheers.
The soulless eyes.
Oh yeah, you put that down actually. But DeRozan's having an absolute like revenge tour type year. I think I've always thought he was good. I thought he was good in San Antonio as well. You know, the progression of his game has been fun to watch as a facilitator, as a, you know, I think somewhat occasional shooter from the outside in San Antonio, but now pretty okay in Chicago. I don't know where his percentage is, but regardless, he's having a massive year. Okay, let me just come with this question outright. It was a pretty meandery lead up, but Alexey, who is having a DeRozan style year, like a don't forget about me type year?
Well, a lot of people probably wouldn't think of this answer in some ways just because he's such a forefront superstar in the NBA and he's like one of the top players. But the other two guys in that three-man conversation are getting more of the spotlight because they've won the championship recently. And LeBron's LeBron, Giannis, but it's Kevin Durant, honestly. Like, he just gets slighted and disrespected in different ways because, you know, he didn't play for a couple years and we've forgotten about him to a degree. And now he's playing for a team with a lot of injuries right now, and he's having to carry them, and he's doing a really good job. So it's a little bit of a weird, like, he's the guy to me, just because, you know, we've kind of forgotten how good and how much he can take over games. And in the last game he played against us, it was him basically with his, like, you know, bench and G League guys. It's really impressive. So I picked Kevin Durant for his, like, his revenge tour, as you put it. Yeah, I like that. That's what I've seen from him. So
awesome. Great pick. I think
yeah, we might have to go again.
Well, Matt dropped out, but I
No, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's I think it's just a video dropout. Listener,
yeah.
If you're wondering, there was some audio difficulty. And if you're in the visual feed, Matt pops in and out. So that we don't know what that means always, but everything is okay. KD is a great choice. He absolutely, you know, yeah, I was saying before we had a bit of difficulty that I, you know, kind of count myself as like a little bit like not a KD doubter. I just feel like he had a very unique and rare challenge coming back from his Achilles, and you know, I doubted he could be an all NBA level guy still just because of the wear and tear and that sort of thing. And I'm obviously wrong. He is so incredible, and it's a remarkable achievement. I think when his career is said and done, people will look back on his injury and just how well he came back from it, and maybe, you know, hopefully he changed the idea around how you can come back from an Achilles. We're right about to see Klay Thompson. I'm hoping that he's just as successful, if not more, coming back from that devastating injury. I'm just going to throw a little love to DeMarcus Cousins, because I think he's someone who's still, you know, he's doing stuff. And, you know, he had some pretty awful injuries too. Andre, only reason I shouted out Boogie Cousins is because I assumed that wasn't your guy, and I hope I didn't step on your toes.
Not my guy.
Okay, good.
Not my guy. I think the DeMar DeRozan like party this year is my maybe my favorite thing in the NBA. Even loving it so much. It reminds me of that meme of the two astronauts looking down on Earth, and like one of them's like, "Wow, DeMar DeRozan's a hell of a player," and then the other astronaut behind him with the gun saying, "Always has been."
Ha! Yes, literally. That's a perfect meme, and I'm glad you rolled that out for this occasion.
Yeah, because memes work when you describe them through
Oh yeah. We love those memes.
looking at them is overrated. So my guy who's kind of had a forgot about me. Now this is really interesting because I was thinking about it. There's some great guys like Draymond Green's having a good season. Steph Curry's having a bit of a forgot about me season. Mike Conley having a really nice season.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that I'm picking is a guy who's not only having a you forgot about me season, he's having a back to back you forgot about me season. Chris Paul.
Great choice.
For the last 3 seasons, we've been like, this guy's done. Oh my God. Like, you know, the OKC season was the first one where he's like, y'all forgot about me.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes to Phoenix. He's like, oh, I'm taking this team to the NBA Finals. You guys forgot about me again. And now this season, he's doing the same thing. He's like, oh yeah, we're just like the best team in the West. Like, sorry, I'm Chris Paul. It's amazing. I
think Chris Paul was my number 1 pick, so I'm gonna go to my backup. But all the guys you named too, you know, good shout out to. I feel like Steph was amazing last year and had a lot of glory with the 3-point competition and stuff. But the Warriors were so bad that obviously, they just weren't really relevant, or not. They weren't so bad, they almost made the playoffs. But my pick is actually Joel Embiid, only because he kind of does this every year. So it's maybe not the best pick because he reminds people of how good he is. And you always wonder if he can kind of keep it up and impose himself in the playoffs. Like with all the, Ben Simmons critique out there, I think some of the Embiid critique is interestingly absent. And, in that Atlanta series, I think if you're an MVP candidate, you should have more of an impact and beat Atlanta. But, he doesn't get enough credit for that loss. And I think because of the Ben Simmons situation and Philly, the turmoil they're in, a lot of people expected them to just fall off. And not only are they not falling off, they're slowly rising. And it's almost like he's remembering that every night when he's on the court, he is basically the best player on the court. And, I'm not sure where he ranks in the MVP rankings this year, but he's my guy. He just seems like he's playing with that attitude right now where he's like, people aren't taking me seriously enough, and I think I'm the best. So
fair enough.
Yeah, weaker pick than your guys. I feel like KD's a good one, and CP3 is the one for me.
Well,
but,
to reinforce what you just said, Fred, one of the early preseason games, the one against Philly, I went real early, and I watched Embiid work out before that game for an hour, and he is really determined. So what you're saying is he is on a revenge tour for sure. So it totally makes sense. I don't have as much faith in Philly as you do, though. I'll say that.
I do think Philly's kind of thin, so we'll see how that develops. But Andre, let's stick with you here on this last question before I bust out some trivia on you guys. And in no order, but who are your top 5 rookies?
I think it's pretty simple, but it's Mobley, Barnes, Wagner, Giddey, and Cunningham. And I just want to add, building this list, I realized it's a bad rookie crop. Outside of the top 6, I would maybe consider, Jalen Green there, I guess. It's not that good. We were so lucky as Raptors to get into the top 4, because if we would have landed in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range, I don't know. Just not a great crop of rookies, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah, there's definitely some, interesting guys, and we'll see how they develop. But I do think, as far as the way drafts are often portrayed or the narrative around them, the one coming in for this one was, if you want to change your franchise, you got to get Green, Suggs, Mobley, or Cunningham. And after that, good luck. And I think that's just a reminder to not only Raptors fans, but all fans that so much more goes into a player's career than A, when they're drafted, and, B, the story they have, behind them coming in, like situation and fit, and just a million things matter. And I think I agree with you, Andre. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of, there's some good players, like Duarte is good. Sengun looked pretty good to me, but not like wildly good. I like Kuminga long term. And I think Green and Suggs have been kind of injured, so we'll see how they do. But it doesn't look particularly amazing. Davion Mitchell's another guy. But by the way, my 5 is your 5. I didn't also have an order, but Giddey and Wagner are the 2 guys that aren't, Cunningham, Mobley, and Barnes.
Man, and so like Wagner, I knew people were excited about him and talked a lot about him. I didn't pay any attention to him until like 3 weeks ago. And then I kept seeing like videos of his performance, and I'm obsessed with the way this guy plays.
He's awesome.
He's like, and it's almost like a big Ginobili or something, like just a little bit awkward, a little bit weird, plays at a pace, like a bit Joe Inglesy, just crafty, like totally wasn't what I expected. And I think he's super fun. I think I'm going to keep my eye out on Orlando games just to watch him play.
Yeah, it's wild to me that, obviously, like, Suggs has been injured, but the story out of Orlando is Wagner. But I watched some highlights too, and like he's one of those guys who, similar to, like, I don't want to say it's like Siakam, but he has this thing where it's like he can do stuff that
very similar to Siakam
that you shouldn't be able to do with that size. And also a bit awkward, and but awkward in a good way, right?
Yeah.
When I said right there, I felt like Nick Nurse. Awkward in a good way, right? That was a horrible Nick Nurse impression, so I'll never do it again. But
right, in a good way, right?
See, that's pretty good. You got the rasp going.
Rasp and a little Southern in there.
Yeah, a little Iowa, Who's your 5 rookies, Alexey?
Well, I have to preface my selections by saying that I have severe tunnel vision. I only watch the Raptors. I don't watch any other games of any other teams or anything, so I don't have a very informed. It's really who I've seen rookies play the Raptors so far this season. So my number 1 is Scotty Barnes at the power forward. My number 2 is Scotty Barnes at the small forward. My number 3 is Scotty Barnes at point guard. And number 4 is Scotty Barnes at center. And number 5 is Scotty Barnes at shooting guard. That's my top 5 rookies.
Very fair. Fred VanVleet is an all-star, and the only notable rookie is Scotty. I did want you to get to number 5 and say Wagner or something, though.
No, Delano Banton.
I actually have 3 lists. That was my first list. My second list is Barnes, Mobley, Banton, Champagnie, and Johnson. And then the last real list is the same one that you guys have agreed to already. But I have Barnes number 1 for sure. I don't put Mobley ahead of him. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to, like, I'm kind of letting that one evolve because it's tight for me. It's quite because Mobley's an incredible defender. Like, anytime I've watched Cleveland, Mobley has a lot of he's not like a small forward, like, whoa, this guy can bring up the ball and do everything, but looks pretty special. And for a big to be that good that quick, is Cleveland's happy about their pick. I think
to me, Scotty is like he's playing point guard, but he's playing defensive center. And we had no idea that either of these things really could be realistically feasible this year going into the season. It was just like, whoa, but he's actually doing this kind of stuff. That's why I don't mind this small lineup where they don't start one of the centers with them, is because Scotty can actually play some defensive pivot. And to me, the versatility, the Swiss Army knife that Scotty Barnes, Mobley's great for a 7-footer that can move like that and do the things he does. But Barnes, we don't even know. Like, even by the end of this month, it may be very far and ahead for sure that we know Scotty is the best rookie because it's coming. The clutch shots
Yeah.
are coming. We've seen the 2 3-pointers in a row in one of the recent games. It's gonna come.
I did either of you guys listen to Will Lou's podcast with Kevin O'Connor?
I did. It was great.
Yeah. So they talk a lot about Scotty there, and they're kind of like, I think Will was like, hey, is it, is it kind of like a Giannis thing? And that's already an insane comparison to compare anyone to Giannis. But I think what you're really seeing with Barnes is the question of what if Draymond Green could be better and particularly very good at offense, right? Like he's that type of guy, to your point, Alexey, of him playing the 5 and being able to pivot defensively, the playmaking, the passing. But then also, like, I think he's going to be able to finish at the rim, and he's going to be like a decent shooter, and like he's going to be able to drive and do all these things offensively that Draymond can't really do at an elite level. Scotty's like, he's a one of one. He's really, really tough to comp to anybody because I think when it's all said and done, he's going to break the mold of a certain type of player. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I see 3 players in him specifically: Magic Johnson, Kawhi Leonard, and Tim Duncan. Those are the 3 players I see in him: Magic Johnson, Kawhi Leonard, and Tim Duncan.
Wow, why are you slandering Scotty like that?
Yeah, why are you so down on Scotty?
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna make a quick Scotty point, and then I think we'll move on to my silly dumb trivia. But I also wanted to shout out friend of the pod, Matt McCready, who has one of the better Scotty comps going, which to me is Scotty Pippen, which is wild. But when you think about their games, there's a lot of like just all around talent, but also special, unique, mold breaking qualities. And I think, Alexey, I want to touch on your Tim Duncan thing because, just follow me here. There's a lot of excitement around Scotty. And I think sometimes that puts fans into a place of like, how do we fast forward to this time when Scotty is, Batman and taking over the league? And I feel like a lot of people, they're desperately want to build around Scotty, and they're kind of overlooking what we have right now, which is we can let Scotty grow and keep the most amount of talent possible around him. Keep Pascal with him. This is how you raise up a Tim Duncan style player. You don't trade David Robinson once you get Tim Duncan, right? You don't trade Tim Duncan once you get Kawhi.
Oh, for sure.
Keep them together, and you foster something special. So that's my kind of Scotty take on, just seeing a lot of people being like, oh my God, this guy's so good. Let's throw away all of the good things we had to hopefully get.
No.
It's like, no. That's like just enjoy Scotty. And I want him in the playoffs. I want Scotty playing with the most amount of talent possible his entire career.
Like the last, I guess 2 games now, maybe 3 games, we've kind of had our core guys healthy, and you're just seeing the starting 5 and you're like, no, that's it. These are our 5 guys, like Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, OG, Siakam, and Barnes, and giving those guys 25 to 35 minutes each every single game in different variations and combinations. But like, those are our guys.
Yep. They're
on contract. They're locked in. Can all 5 guys stick around for the next 5 to 10 years? Probably not. One or 2 of them is going to have to move around, but this is a medium-term project that can not only gel and contribute together, but it can definitely grow together. And, it's bearing fruit already, right? Like, we are like having some impressive wins with those 5 guys, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's end on that note. Just as far as Raptors talk, which we went back into because it's a Raptors pod, and this team's amazing. Maddie, come on in here. We're gonna do some trivia. You know what's coming, Maddie D. This is my name as many players as you can on a random NBA roster game.
God.
It's really hard. It's really hard. Alexey has already admitted to not watching teams other than the Raptors, so this is going to be extra hard for you. But just know, you get a couple players. That's pretty good. So you get 3 X's. You can't take too long to think. You got to just keep it coming as much as you can. Every time you name someone who's not on the roster, that's an X against you. Let's do you first, Andre, just so Alexey can see how it plays. My question to you is: do you want easy, medium, or hard?
I'll take hard. Let's go off the
Okay.
the top deck here.
I like this. I like this a lot. Your team is the Sacramento Kings.
Okay. Tyrese Halliburton,
Yep.
DeAndre Fox,
Yep.
Marvin Bagley,
Yep.
Tristan Thompson,
Yes. Doing great.
Yeah. Rashawn Holmes.
Yep. That's 5.
The shooter guy, the guy that shoots the
Mhm.
ball. I can't remember his name. Is Corey Joseph on that team?
He's on the Pistons.
Okay, so there's an X.
That's an X.
I want to say, shoot. Yeah, I think I'm running out of names now. That was
Fair enough.
There's the
Pretty good.
shooter guy named
Number 24.
Buddy.
Buddy Hield. Thank you, Alex.
Alexey just jumping in there. I love it.
Yeah, but that's I don't think I can name anyone else.
Okay, yeah. So we'll give you 6 and we'll end there. That was a fantastic round, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll throw out maybe a couple names that you could have gotten, perhaps. So maybe Harrison
I've got
Barnes.
another one. I've got another one. Can I add another one? No.
I think it's done for you. But who are you going to add? Though?
Davion Mitchell. Sorry.
Davion Mitchell. Yes. Okay. You know what? We'll give it to you because it did kind of end messily there. But yeah, Harrison Barnes and Mitchell were going to be the guys that I said. I feel like
Terrence Davis.
Terrence Davis,
TD.
Alex Len.
Alex Len.
Okay, but 6.5, 7, Andre. That's like high heights for this game and for the show. I think Alan Shane Lewis has the record, which is like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
As you can see, I keep stringent records on this game. Okay, Alexey, what's up? Do you want to go hard, medium, or easy?
Well, I want to go for the record, so give me easy.
Okay. I'm giving you the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's his name? Jonathan Kuminga,
Yep.
Draymond Green,
Yep.
Klay Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry,
Yes.
Kevon Looney,
Yes.
Sean Livingston.
Nope.
No, is that a strike?
Formerly Sean Livingston. That's a strike.
Okay. Okay. Let me get back into this mode. Jordan Poole.
Yep.
Isn't there a guy on their team? Man, I gotta
From
think.
Canada?
Ooh, thank you. Wiggins, of course,
Wiggins?
Andrew Wiggins. Yes, thank you. That's the assist I gave him earlier. I
That's
love
right.
it.
That's
This is a team game. That was like Precious and Boucher the other night. All right, let's see. I gotta get. How many do I have right now?
You have 7. Great.
I have 7 right now.
7, 1 strike, 1 assist. Not bad.
Gosh. Think big guys. Think big. There's a little dude. He's like real little Chioda.
Chris Chioza.
Chioda. Yeah, Chioda. That little dude. And then there's another. There's
Wait.
somebody Anderson Serrano or something.
Juan Toscano Anderson.
Can you give me a half on that, maybe?
I'll give you a half. And you know what?
All right. So what? I'm at 8.5 or something. Oh my gosh.
8.5. Yeah.
Oh.
1 more strike.
Oh.
You did really good.
There's some other old pro that's still on that team. Oh, Iguodala.
Yes.
Iguodala's still on that team. And there's one more. I gotta remember. That's like old school.
Yeah.
Didn't they just get like Boogie Cousins? No, not Boogie Cousins. Give me a
Nope.
strike.
That's a strike.
We just played a whole bunch of their scrubs. Dang it! I was at that game. It's like, all right, I can't remember. I have to stop there. Alan's safe.
I've got two guys.
Man, kill myself.
Gary Payton Jr.
Yes. Ah, man.
and Damian Lee.
Damian Lee. Nice.
Yeah, wow.
And you
Oh,
get
and Andre Iguodala.
he
Yeah, you
said
got
it.
that
He
one.
said Iggy.
Oh, dang.
But did you said Clay, right?
Yeah, I did say
Yeah,
Clay.
Okay.
He did.
And then just looking at it, Otto Porter Jr. I feel like might have been in your head.
Oh yeah, that's the other vet I was trying to remember.
But other than that, you basically cleaned up. Maybe James Wiseman, but he hasn't been around for a while. So
Of course.
okay, Maddie.
Oh God,
It's your
I was
turn.
freeze at this one.
I know, easy, medium, or hard.
Well, you got to give me easy because like I really choke.
Okay.
Like-
I just love this idea of this meaningless game, and you're like, okay, this is good. Maddie,
Yeah.
your team is the Miami Heat.
Okay,
Oh.
all right. Kyle Lowry,
Yes.
Jimmy
Well, if I-
Butler.
You have to give yourself the dings.
Bam.
Yeah.
Bio. We're going Tyler Hero, my man.
My man.
We're gonna go with PJ Tucker.
Yes, nice one.
We're gonna go with okay, we got so we got those guys. Geez, what's the other guy's name? Robinson?
Yep, I'll give it to you, Duncan Robinson.
Yeah,
Matt
Robinson,
Duncan
okay.
Robinson.
Yes, Robinson, Crusoe, and let's see who else we got there. Oh, see, now that we're off the starters, there's some people that
Ooh, that
There-
sound.
I want to say, oh God, I'm missing some obvious ones, aren't I?
Yeah, you're doing
Don't say
okay.
Dragic.
Don't say Dragic. I'm gonna go. Is there like a Curry brother or something? No.
Seth is for Philly.
Right. I think. See, I'm drawing a blank now. I can't think of anyone else.
Hey, I think you did pretty good. Let
Pretty
me
good for
throw
me.
a couple names. I feel like you
Yeah.
might have got.
Yeah.
But Miami's maybe a bit harder than I gave it credit for. Markieff Morris,
Didn't know he was on there.
fair enough.
Oladipo.
Oladipo.
Oladipo,
But he hasn't
Udonis Haslem.
played. Haslam. Whiteside.
Struce.
Not
Struce.
Whiteside.
Not Whiteside.
Nope. Whiteside's playing for the Jazz,
Oh.
backing up Gobert.
Right.
Okay, guys, that's the game. Everyone did pretty good. I feel like I got to push harder teams. Thank you so much for doing the pod. Everyone who listens, who's been sharing, who's been spreading the good word, thank you very much as well. Let's go to you first, Andre. Obviously, in Ontario, Toronto, we're back into another difficult lockdown. We'll see how long it is. Tough time of the year, but what do you want to say to everyone? What do you have going on?
Not much going on. Thankfully still working and doing all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's been said too many times over the last 2 years, but go out and try to support a local restaurant, get some takeout, leave a good tip, spot you really love, show them some love, and I hope every business out there can hold on and fingers crossed, maybe 3 to 4 weeks we're in a much better shape and feeling more bullish and getting things back on track.
Yeah, me too. And that's great advice. Alexey, what's up? I'm assuming you're I don't know what's going on with the Wasps or what you want to promote, but give the people some good news.
That Wasp show never took off because I realized I don't have any kind of good lens. I tried to film it just with my phone and it was not working. It was like it didn't capture the same feeling I was getting from just watching it, right. I guess. But anyway, I piggybacking kind of on what Andre's saying here is I'd like everybody to take that Betty White challenge that they're talking about these days. Give some money to the pets and stuff like that. But my project right now is I'm doing a YouTube channel right now. You inspired me, guys. Actually, you and Maddie D inspired me to get on the YouTube and try and do some stuff. And I've been doing live streams every morning from like around 9 a.m. Eastern time, where we have a regular group of people come in and we just talk about the daily Raptors stuff that's happening. Like whatever the news is, I'll set up a game or we'll react to the game from last night. It's just a fun little positive community space for Raptor fans that aren't cynics and just totally want to slam the team all the time. It's a safe space to come in and just be real positive about the team. So it's a Raptor Freak on YouTube. Just look me up.
Hell yeah, Raptor Freak on YouTube. Look him up. Maddie, let's get this year going. 2022. It's our first pod of the new year. Hope everyone is doing okay. And again, thanks for sharing the pod and listening and supporting. Maddie, if you feel like we're good, we're done, we're all wrapped up and good to go, please just give me those sweet, delicious words. Okay.
Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.